Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Great Tuesday morning. Hope everyone is doing great. If you missed our show last night, great content. We had a lot of people watching from different fan bases. It was a great show. Conversation about the path of Notre Dame and Ohio State to this national championship game. It is the Lucky Lefty podcast. Left will be along shortly. We got Howard Griffith coming up in about 15 minutes, and we are brought to you by ONORA Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. It is that premium American whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. And if you drink, ladies and gents, make sure that you do it responsibly. Let's get it. Lucky Lucky Podcast, ONORA Boys in the building. MALIK, ZAIRE, SHAUN Davis, brought to you by ONORA or Nora Whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. That premium American whiskey, ONORAWhiskey.com. Don't forget, subscribe, Lucky Lefty, YouTube. Hit the thumbs up. It helps with the views. Leave your comments, questions. We respond to all. TikTok, Twitter, X, Instagram at Lucky Lefty Pod. Tap in with us over at patreon.com for the Lucky Legends podcast with former Notre Dame players and also the Players Only podcast. Guys like Oscar McBride, Reggie Brooks, they were celebrating with the legendary Lou Holtz last night. Happy birthday, Coach. Hope you enjoyed and had fabulous times. Holtz Heroes, they always put on fabulous events. Check them out over patreon.com/Lucky Lefty Network. And then audio edibles from myself and Left each and every day. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, CFP Nation. Tap in. We are the home of the misguided passion. And we are forever committed to making sure that we spin it different. Get your GTB questions in, your super chats. Like we said, we're going to spend probably the next 30 to 45 minutes with Big Ten Network's own Howard Griffith, who has followed the path. I just realized that Notre Dame, in order to win a national championship, or regardless of whether or not they win, they will have played 3 Big Ten teams and 1 SEC team. 3 Big Ten teams and 1 SEC team on their path. It's absolutely amazing. Like, really, what can you say? Left has really stirred up. He has really stirred up the hornet's nest, man. We made it to the Levitard show. Some of his people are wondering why Malik is standing so hard when he does a show weekly, daily, and he hasn't changed his tune. The same stuff he's talking about Ohio State, he was talking about Penn State. When everybody else was saying, Malik, man, I don't know, he was talking the same trash about Georgia, saying they're not us. He was talking the same talk about Indiana. Even after the NIU loss, he was like, we're good. We're good. We just got to get Riley straight. Once we get Riley straight, we're going to be good. He's been talking that talk all season long. Just because you're a Johnny-come-lately to Malik ZAIRE and how he stands for Notre Dame and how he reps his Fighting Irish, I don't know what else to tell you. But he's being 100% authentic. This is not a drill. This is the real thing. Nobody pulled the fire alarm. Notre Dame is ablaze. It's ablaze. So you need to get out. If you don't like it, get out. That's what it is. Lucky Lefty Podcast. So hit me with some GTB questions until Left jumps in and until Howard Griffith gets here. I would love to answer your questions for about the first 15 minutes of the show. But I do want to play this clip with Marcus Freeman. This is right after they won 27-24 over Penn State. I want to play this clip for you guys and then come back and get your thoughts. Marcus Freeman immediately after defeating Penn State 27-24 to advance to the national championship game against Ohio State.
The resilience and response of this team to give this program a chance to win its first national title since 1988.
Yeah. I often tell them in your lowest moments, you find out the most about yourself. And we've had low moments, but we had a really low moment. We know week 2. And these guys battle. We got great leaders. We got great players that chose to put this university and this football program in front of themselves. And that, to me, is probably the single thing that I'm proud of, how this group of individuals truly put Notre Dame football in front of themselves. Like, I know Riley and Christian truly would rather be in that locker room celebrating than being up here. But that's what it takes. It takes 120 guys saying, you know what? Who cares how many plays I get? Who cares what type of individual praise I get? It's all for Notre Dame to make sure we achieve team glory. And we have a locker room of guys made up of that. And that, to me, is a reflection of what you saw today. The guys that did whatever it took to find a way to make sure we achieve the outcome we want.
Irish fans, I have to admit, this is the one game, and I'm speaking of the semifinal in the Orange Bowl against Penn State. It is the one game, because I always go back and watch the game. I'm looking for nuances, tidbits, things to pick up. I love watching the tendency of Al Golden, right? There were a lot of fired Irish fans leading into this game that were really down on Mike Denbrock coming off the Georgia game. And if you look at the scoreboard and what the offense did in that game, have at it. I understand your disappointment. But honestly, Mike Denbrock definitely earned his money. He pushed all the right buttons with his play call in the second half, his adjustments in the second half. Joe Rudolph. A lot of people question Joe Rudolph throughout the season. Ladies and gentlemen, Tosh Baker and Charles Jagusah were ready. Is that not the true testament? Let me point out something. I want to point out a quote. Charles Jagusah, when he was being recruited, and it came down to Arkansas, Michigan, Notre Dame. To be honest, it came down to Michigan and Notre Dame, Harry Heastand versus Sharon Moore. That was really the battle for the services of Charles Jagusah. This quote rings louder now than ever as we get ready to bring in Big Ten Network's Howard Griffith in a few seconds. Charles Jagusah literally said, "What finally made me choose Notre Dame over Michigan is that Harry Heastand coached the backups just as hard as he coached the starters." He said, when I saw that, because I knew coming in I would be a starter, and so I would be a backup. So I wasn't looking at how the starters were coached. I wanted to know how were the backups going to be coached. And when you see Tosh Baker, backup left tackle, and Charles Jagusah, backup right guard, come in the Orange Bowl, and the offensive line plays better, that lets you know the accountability in that position room. And that accountability is bigger than the offensive line coach. It's bigger than just this iteration of that offensive line. That is something that is, Zach Martin comes back, holds them accountable. Quentin Nelson comes back every summer, holds them accountable. Ronnie Stanley comes back, holds them accountable. That is the one room that has deep roots when it comes to accountability and being ready, right? Because remember, Jared Patterson goes down. He's playing left tackle. He goes down. Tosh Baker gets the next step. He gets the next try. He doesn't succeed. He doesn't play well. They put in freshman Joe Alt, and Joe Alt takes off. Last year in Clemson, on the road, They lose their starting center. Literally, the next series, they lose their backup center. Ashton Craig comes in, third string. The starting center transfers to North Carolina State. Ashton Craig is your starting center moving forward until he got injured against Purdue. That is the accountability of the offensive line at Notre Dame. Your time is coming. And when it arrives, you better be ready. There is no try. There is only do when it comes to the offensive line at Notre Dame. We are pleased to welcome in big brother of the program, Chicago's own, Illinois' own, Howard Griffith.
My man, how are you?
My brother. I was about to say, and I stopped myself because I'm a Mustang, you're a Jaguar. So I can't go there. Two Red South guys. Red South guys, Morgan Park versus Julian.
Yeah.
But let's talk about this matchup. And you have connections to both, of course, with the Big Ten Network, constantly following Ohio State, of course, with your son, and being a proud parent of a Notre Dame alum, and following and being close to the program as Marcus Freeman took over, as your son was getting ready to graduate. What is different? Because you experienced it through your son. You experienced Notre Dame and what it was through your son, and then you experienced the beginning of the transition into the Marcus Freeman era.
I think first of all, it starts off with being, Notre Dame, the university, the institution, right? I think we all, parents all want the best for their children and want to put them in a situation where they can succeed. And although he thought that he was going to be going someplace else, I, behind the scenes, were directing him, and I knew where I wanted him to go. I knew what I needed him to do. So that process was there. And then he decided, I want to do something different. Again, I said, okay, well, we'll pretend like you want to do something different, but this is what we're going to, end up doing, particularly knowing that Marcus Freeman was going to be there. And when Marcus reached out to me, I said, don't worry about that, Marcus. I got this. Just go through the process and everything's going to be okay. But, I've known Marcus since his playing days at Ohio State. And once he became a GA at Ohio State, it was very clear at that moment that he was going to be a special coach. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you I knew he was going to be in his first head coaching job. It was going to be at Notre Dame. And a few years after that, he'd be in a national coaching for a national championship. That's not it. But his ability to communicate, his ability to touch the buttons of young people that are around him, really shows you the value. Now, you ask what's different. One of the things, and you know this better than I do, there was a quote unquote stigma that, only certain guys want to go to Notre Dame. And I think during that time, during the Kelly years, you could probably put an All-American team of players who ended up going someplace else, but wanted to go to Notre Dame, but they couldn't quite get on the same page. And what Marcus has done is he's obviously connected on the recruiting trail, and not just him, but he's got an outstanding, coaching staff and support system around the university that knows the importance of recruiting and knows the importance of how do you get this program to the next step. The pressure is still there. You got to win. You got to go undefeated, or you can only drop one game to get to where you want to go and to get into that 12-team playoff. But I think the biggest difference, getting back to that, is you have guys in that locker room that are willing to not only play hard for the guy next to them, but are willing to play hard for the guy in the front of the room. And nothing speaks volumes to that more. I think probably one of the most important clips in his history to this point of Marcus Freeman was when he was introduced as the head coach in the locker room, and you saw the reaction of that team. Because they wanted Marcus Freeman. They knew what he meant to them and what he could do for the program. Now, you also say that young people always want, the in-house guy to get the job. And there's some truth to that. But it was different because these guys all spoke highly of him. They understood him and knew they wanted to play hard. And I think that, and as he's grown as a coach by having Denbrock on the sideline, by having Al Golden on the sideline, he's been able to continue to grow as a head coach because it's not easy. And he stubbed his toe sometimes, right? But it's important that the administration stayed behind him and started to give him all the resources he needed to get Notre Dame to where they are right now. And I think what you're seeing is a team that not only has been able to overcome injuries because of their commitment to one another and to the program, but you see a team that's playing for a national championship next week, and it's going to be really exciting to watch this matchup and how it unfolds.
It is amazing to me the similarity and styles make fights. And in this NIL age, it is almost like an arms race where people are trying to use revenue and use funds from boosters and alumni to go out and get the best players. Notre Dame is always the outlier. Notre Dame is always different. Jack Swarbrick, I believe, was very much a visionary in seeing how Notre Dame does not need to jump, head first into this NIL pool. Understand that things are going to level out, and the top dogs are really going to come back to the pack if you're patient and do things the right way. And I think the hiring of Marcus Freeman, I think that was part of that vision as well. But as you see it now, on the field, what is different about this team? When you look at the first iteration that took the field at the Horseshoe against and played a competitive game when most people thought they were going to get blown out against C.J. Stroud and that Ohio State team, what is different about the talent, how they play, even with the hiccups with Marshall, Stanford, and even this year with NIU? What is different on the field that you feel like?
I think when you see, I think really it still goes back to guys wanting to play as hard as they can for one another. I mean, that if you talk to people that have won championships, that's what it came down to. It's not always the most talented team. It's the team that's playing the best at that particular moment. And as we were talking when I was listening to you as you came in, think about all the injuries they continue to have in the offensive and the defensive line rooms. I mean, it's amazing they continue to step up to that challenge, because you think about it, right? This is a team that's had to go against some, from a run standpoint, look at it offensively, that has had to go against some really good defensive units and really good, front fours. And they've been able to maximize that. And I think the biggest difference has been the quarterback run, being able to run the quarterback for that to happen. Because a lot of times there are very few teams in the country that can just get pressure, as Penn State did last week with 4. And listen, next week rather is going to be the same thing. Ohio State's going to bring 4 when they need to, and if they need to bring more pressure, they will bring that. But you'll see a guy like Cody Simon, he's going to be spying the quarterback, because they know to get that offense going. Sometimes when it struggles with the pass rush and he's under pressure, he's going to want to pull that thing down and run it, which has been able to really pay dividends for them in short yardage or long yardage situations, to be able to keep the chains moving. And, they'll come up with a 50-50 ball down the field, but Ohio State's going to believe that they can get there with the 4 that they have, because, what's on tape right now is that if you pressure the quarterback, his numbers go way down as far as his completions. And, yes, he's been able to make some passes, but if he's under pressure, that's when he starts to have problems. If he's comfortable in the pocket, he's going to sit back there and be able to pick you apart, or again, find a lane, and he's not afraid to use his legs to keep that drive moving. And, you got to give a lot of credit to Mike Denbrock and the rest of the coaching staff on the offensive side. Joe Rudolph, who I know from his days at Wisconsin, have really been able to just get the guys getting the very most out of every position. And even when they had some injuries at the running back spot, I mean, they find ways in a critical moment. Hey, when you needed a touchdown, you needed a first down. I don't know that you'll find 2 better runs in the game last week than happen to be able to get the touchdown and convert. So they're playing with a lot of confidence offensively, because they know that they've been against some of the best defenses in the country. And, this probably will be their best test as far as defensive units, talent, and speed that they've had a chance to compete against this week. Now, if you had asked me this 3 weeks ago, I'd have said this is a bad matchup. It really is a bad matchup when you look across the board. But what Al Golden has figured out, man, they just find ways to win and put you in tough situations. Now, if they can get to the quarterback and come up, turn the offense back when you get inside the red zone or inside the 25, which they had success with against Penn State, all bets are off. They'll be able to come up with some plays to make enough plays to be able to pull out a win.
The symmetry between these two teams goes beyond Marcus Freeman, the connection, just being different styles, but being really good at what they do. Like, I don't think neither team has to change who they are to win this game. That's the beauty in this matchup. Like, if Notre Dame does what they do, they can win the game. If Ohio State does what they do best, more than likely they're going to win the game. So who can force the other team to play other than the way that they want to play is going to be very interesting. But the next thing I want to talk about, I think this is the most important thing. And I'm glad you brought up Joe Rudolph, because I thought in the middle of the season, once injuries hit that Ohio State offensive line, I was like, okay, this is maybe where it starts to go off the rails a little bit, right? Because Will Howard is not that type of quarterback that's just going to drop back and just eat you up throwing the ball 40 times, right? He's not that guy. He gives you so many different ways, similar to Riley Leonard. He can beat you with his legs. He's a good enough passer, and he has a lot of talented weapons behind him, next to him, or on the outside. But Justin Fry, they've done an incredible job with that offensive line. They moved, in my opinion, their best offensive lineman from left guard out to left tackle. That solidifies the tackle situation. And then you guys like Luke Montgomery and the rest of those guys on the inside, they've really done an incredible job. And I think you need to start there when you're talking about Ohio State righting the ship, especially after that Michigan loss.
Yeah, and I think one of the things that happened too is, Riley Leonard started to use his legs a little bit more. And I know there's been so much made of his ability to run the ball. I don't necessarily see it. I mean, he's good enough to be able to move the chains, but he's just not all of a sudden gonna, blow you away. There's a play in this last game where he ended up getting a helmet to his hand and a big knot popped up on his hand on a ball he should have given to the running back. Because out the backside, he still might be running. So there's still some things that they're going to have to do and continue to work with. But you're right, it starts up front with all the injuries they've had up there. Without the offensive line, you're not going to be able to really be able to move the ball. And they've really had, when they've had struggles as an O-line, is when they've had a real dominant in rusher or interior guy that's been able to create pressure, to create some problems for them up front. And communication becomes a problem when you're playing different parts. And they found ways to continue to do that, but also they've been able to run the football, and that takes the pressure off, because now you look at what was able to happen in this last game for Ohio State. They took away their playmaker, their primary playmaker. I think if you looked at the numbers and talk about Smith only catching one ball for 3 yards, I think they might have been 3 of 15 or something crazy like that, or 3 of 13 on third down. They would have, everything. When you look at those numbers last week's game, you would have said they lost the game had you not seen it. But this was one of the first times that really they broke away from having that quick start, having to overcome, leads and poor play and turnover, different things they've had to overcome, and they've been able to figure it out, and they've won differently. And defensively, they were just so dominant. I think it all ultimately starts up front. I think what's interesting as well is you talk about this Notre Dame team from the defensive standpoint, and they want to play man-to-man. It's something like 90% of the time. And if that's going to be your game plan, which I don't expect them to all of a sudden shift and change things, that's what Ohio State wants. That's what Chip Kelly wants to see. And even if you have help over the top, now you're talking about Carnell Tate stepping up and being able to play. Ennis being able to step up and play. Abuka. So now you start talking about crossing routes that could become problematic. And again, can you keep your quarterback upright? I mean, it all goes back to what this offensive line can do to protect them and be able to run the ball when they want to, because they're going to come up with some schemes that they're going to win. I mean, they're not, by no stretch of the imagination, are they going to get run out of the building, because it didn't happen last week. And I know that Penn State didn't play as well as they needed to, but I still thought Notre Dame did everything they needed to do to move the chains and score points when they needed to, come up with stops when they needed to, and kept them in the game and kept it a tight one. And I think this will probably be a tight one if Ohio State is not able to get off to a big start. So there's so many, I think, chess pieces that'll have to be played in this game, with the coaching staff trying to put their players in the best positions. And what do you see out of special teams? What happens there? So it's a lot of stuff that can happen in this game. And it's still got some time that they need to get prepared to get ready to go.
So give me the thing to watch early on for both teams. You just mentioned Ohio State is used to getting off to a fast start, right? And I think both teams impressed me in their semifinal wins because they had to win going against the grain or swimming upstream, right? Doing what they normally are not. Notre Dame had to come from behind. A lot of people, what is Notre Dame going to do if they get down double digits early? Well, they showed you. They showed you their mettle. You know, what does Ohio State do if they don't get off to that fast start, you know, and it's a close game? They showed you the defense can come ahead. And you have the top two defenses. This, to me, man, I'm like, yo, these are the best. Who knew at the end of the year we would be saying these are the two best teams in college football? And I don't think there's any debate about it. Like, you're getting the matchup. The playoff has done what you wanted to do. You got the best two teams. Let's see. But what's for the key early for both teams?
I think the key early, I think if you're Ohio State, right, I think it's really, to me, and you know, I mentioned Cody Simon earlier. What are they doing with him, right? What are they doing him? Because I know that in situations he's going to be spying. He has to. I mean, that only makes sense. Remember, this is an Ohio State team that's going to play with 5 DBs. They feel very confident with playing with 5. And when you try to run against that, Caleb Downs can come down into the box, and he triggers so quickly on the run game, and also getting back to cover receivers that, you know, I think the matchup is going to be fascinating. I think you look at Ohio State offensively. How quickly are they going to try to get, you know, Jeremiah Smith going? I think you'll see a lot of motion, particularly if they want to see, you know, how much man is Notre Dame willing to stay with. You're going to move him around. You're going to move Ibuka around. Keeping an eye on that third receiver, that middle receiver in the 3-receiver set, where he is going is going to, because that's going to be a matchup. I think they're going to be, as Watts versus Jeremiah Smith, you're going to see that by formation sometimes. It's just going to happen. They're going to move things around, and that's going to happen. Now, you're talking about one of the best safeties in all of college football, probably the most decorated defensive back or defensive player in Notre Dame, right? So the matchup, that's going to be a fabulous matchup. And then, you know, you look at Notre Dame offensively. For me, it's just continuing to move the chains, right? You know, how healthy can the run game go? Staying on par. Can you get to second and medium, second and short, so that now the threat of the quarterback run is in play? Because now, if that's the case, that takes one rusher away. Because remember, I said they're going to probably try to spy him because they know that's how Notre Dame wants to be able to continue to move the chains. If he doesn't see anything he likes, he's pulling it down and getting out of there. I think the other thing is going to be critical, not to end up with too many one-on-one situations on the defensive end. And I know that, you know, at some point it's going to happen. But when you look at JTT and Sawyer on the other side, man, those guys are rushing the passer right now, probably playing as best that they've played as a unit since they've probably been there. And that's what's a little scary when you talk about the defense and what they've been able to do. And, you know, I think it's going to be up to the linebackers to know where the quarterback is at all times, so that they don't get beat necessarily on quarterback sneaks and quarterback run game.
You know what's crazy for me? I was looking at the previous 2 matchups, and I think Notre Dame is much more talented from a roster standpoint than they were in the previous two matchups, especially on the back end. I think their safeties are far much better than they were last year. Xavier Watts played last year. I don't think his counterpart is as good as Adon Schuler is. So when I look at that, and you talk about matching up with Ohio State, you know, and being able to do what they, of course, they're not about to hold Ohio State to 0 catches and 0 yards. This is not Penn State's wide receiver corps. But in the same breath, the thing that bothers me, and it goes to what you said a key early, I would worry if Ohio State leaned on their two running backs, because Notre Dame fans might not want to hear this. If you ask me the top two duos or the top duos, I don't have a problem with people saying Penn State and Ohio State have the top two duos at running back. Notre Dame has the best trio at running back.
Yeah.
Notre Dame goes 3 deep.
We go 3 deep.
If they lean on those two running backs, Penn State ran the ball 40 plus times for 200
That's
yards.
what I'm saying. Yeah.
What comforts me is I just don't think Ryan Day is patient enough to do that. I don't see it. Eventually,
well, he wasn't patient in the last game. He pick and chose his spots, and we gave up something we shouldn't have. And just like how Texas gave up that screen, we gave up that end around. It was by the same players.
But like you said, Travion Henderson with the long touchdown run last year. That was their big play. Notre Dame's winning 10-7 in the fourth quarter. The year before that in the horseshoe, they go to the running game.
Henderson right around, and
they just pound us all fourth quarter. There's nothing we could do about it. That's the one thing. Like, if Ryan Day could just focus and say, yo, we can run the ball in this team and do the same thing that Penn State did, and then use play action and some other things to really take advantage of that man-to-man coverage. I would be scared of that. I just don't trust Ryan Day to be patient enough to do it. How do you feel?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, that's not how they're going to start out. The ball's going to be in the air. They're going to throw it to run it. Because they've got to get Jeremiah Smith going, period. 1 catch, 3 targets, whatever it was. They have to get him going. They don't want to play the game the way they played it last week, although they found a different way to win. I think what would worry me is if Travion Henderson gets in the passing game, and not with the screens, but the vertical game, running seam routes and that thing, because that's where now all of a sudden you got to match up. Do they catch you in a blitz? And that's what happened. If you look at the plays that were made, last week, and even the one with Travion made, and you talk in the Texas game, Travion was a screen. The linebacker or the safety was blitzing, or the linebacker, and he had man-to-man coverage, and he decided he's going to keep blitzing. You look at those 2 wheel routes that happened. Sonny Styles was blitzing. That's his man, one-on-one. He's got him. And twice, the second time he was, the first time it was a great play. The second time he was blitzing. Don't know whether he has the ability to pull off and cover him, but clearly, he was wide open. So it made a play. So these linebackers are going to have to be able to read and understand what their responsibilities are going to be and only do their job. Because that's what can add, a twist to it. Travion being able to get vertical in the pass game, like I said, is a big part of it. And then, they'll figure out the motions and how to get the ball, whether it's jet sweeps or what it may be, to get those guys in the pass game moving around as well. So, listen, I think Chip Kelly he's a dude that wants to run the ball. That's what he really wants to do. If they feel like they can run it and have some success, I think they'll try to stay with it. But I think against this Notre Dame team, that to me this is a physical. It's not the most talented D-line, but it is a physical defensive line that's going to clog things up and make things hard for you. And these linebackers are so smart and so their ability to diagnose things that they make the right plays and reads that they need to. So again, you talk about Chip Kelly, Al Golden. That's going to be a great matchup. Dim Brock, being able to step up and going against Knowles, and then the chess match is still going to be there. Is it time? Should we call a fake now? It's now the time to call a fake. Those are something that these 2 head coaches are going to have to to figure out that, to be able to really dial in. And I think that's the cool part about this game too, is both head coaches trust their coordinators to do what they need to do, and that they can fly around at the 30,000-foot level, really have a gauge of the team, dive down into it, press the buttons that they need to press, and then really be able to look and see what the team needs to be able to move forward. And you don't see that. You don't see those matchups a lot, but this is the kind of game. The truth is, this is why Chip Kelly was brought in, right? So Ryan Day didn't have to worry about the offense day to day. He didn't. That's not what he needs to worry about. He needs to try to figure out the team and what they need to do. Now, there's going to be times he needs to get on the horn. Hey, Chip, we need to run it here. Hey, Chip, we need this. But they trust each other. And it's the same way, with Marcus Freeman and what he's got going, with his team in Notre Dame.
No one is more qualified to answer this next question. Because, ladies and gents, even though you might not know this, you're talking about someone that cut his chops in the NFL with a legendary team up in Buffalo that went to 4 straight Super Bowls and then left there and won 2 Super Bowls back-to-back with the Denver Broncos. Coaches like Marv Levy, Mike Shanahan. And your quality, your resume is stellar, my brother. I mean, no one can answer this question. What is it like, bro? Because there is a viral video that has been going around all season with Manti Te'o talking about, I stood there and Alabama ran past us in 2012, and I looked behind us, and for the first time all year, I saw that my guys weren't ready. Mm-hmm. I don't think that disparity that existed in 2012 exists. I don't think Notre Dame is going to see Ohio State running by and get any type of feeling of intimidation. But the magnitude of the moment, playing in a Super Bowl, right? Playing in a national championship, usually it leads to some early mistakes in games from teams playing out of character. Mm-hmm. What do you just talk about, like, what it's going to be like for Will Howard, for Riley Leonard as the quarterbacks, transferring in and coming to schools to get to this moment, and now
this is
why you came, and now you're in the moment. Talk about
dreamed about being here, right? Yeah. They both dreamed about being in this type of situation, which is why they made the decision to transfer in. But it goes back to something you said. You can't all of a sudden change the stripes. What happens, you get in these games, is there's time, right? There's time. Listen, they've had the game plan, or at least a scouting report, a preliminary scouting report of what they would face before they played both of these teams. I mean, because the back rooms now and the analysts are so big right now that you know exactly what the game plan is going to be. It'll get tweaked. But going in from a coaching staff what you need to go in and emphasize. And I truly believe that both of these teams have to stay true to who they are. Because to me, when you all of a sudden start to do things that are just not who you are, you're asking people to do things that they may not be comfortable with. And that's part of in this whole process of the teams being able to get to this point, you have to have a roster that has players that have played valuable times and valuable snaps in previous weeks. Because when you have that player that gets nicked up and has to come out for a play, the rest of the team has seen them go out and execute. They have confidence in them. So there's not anybody on either side of the field that's going to be running out on the field feeling uncomfortable about their assignment and what they need to do in this moment. So staying true to that, I think it's what it comes down to, and staying in character, doing your job and understanding that not letting the moment get too big. Brian Young's son, when he ran into the kicker twice.
In a row.
I think that dude is going to be an unbelievable player at Notre Dame. You talk about upside.
Great range.
I'm just watching him move around. And I'm like, God, dog. But he can't make that kind of mistake, right? But I think that the tail of it was, he was put back in a situation, he made it again, and then he may have had another penalty later on. But it was still the belief that he can still go out and do his job. He just can't make those kinds of mistakes. So if your best players are playing at a high level and your younger players are stepping in and the special teams game are playing at a higher level, because you don't know. There's going to be, I talk about this all the time, 5 affordable plays in every game is going to change the outcome. What are those plays going to be? Is it that 50-50 ball, or when it's going to Jeremiah Smith, is that 90-10 ball and Notre Dame comes up with it with that 10% chance of coming up with it when they believe it's, they're everything that we've seen from him means he dominates that, that one-on-one situation. So can you make some of those plays? And that's going to be for both sides, man. It's going to be at least one special teams play that's going to change everything. It really is. And, they got the players to do it, both sides. But it's about really, to me, staying inside of the system and not trying to do more than you're asked to do. And when you asked me earlier, you asked me what's the difference with this Marcus Freeman-led team. Well, the players are willing to sell out for the head coach. They were already willing to sell out for one another, but now they're selling out for Notre Dame trying to get to this spot. And in previous years, I hear that wasn't always the case because there was always some friction or whatever it may be. Now, I don't think that exists. It doesn't appear to be there. So
there's definitely more of a streamline and being on the same page in the administration that, like you said, there was ulterior factors of, I feel like, us holding ourselves back outside of just college football landscape being difficult and changing and morphing. We still held restrictions on our own selves. So being able to finally streamline that, get the coaches you actually wanted, get some of the recruits that you needed, got a new AD that got in line. So the relationship, I think, got better from year 2 to 3. And you saw what a good relationship, because Shaun always mentioned, you look at the quarterback, but that's the bottom of the tree. This dysfunction at the quarterback is probably dysfunction in the staff, probably dysfunction in the administration. And that was always our disconnect when we would blame a Drew Pine, blame a Jack Cohn, blame a Sam Hartman. Because we knew there were things that outside of the field was affecting some of these decisions going on to the field. So I think the result of us cleaning it up is seeing a guy like a Riley Leonard, who may not have been the most talented kid in the world coming in or at his highest, but for a program to be right and to cater to that, to nurture that, and to guide him and help him, get to this point now, that's a program thing. I think that's why Shaun's always said this is not about the quarterback this year. The program got set in place. Now we have to decide, is this a program that's fork in the road to a dynasty, or is it a fork in the road to where do we go from here?
Yeah, I think you're right. I think when you start to talk, because I think you probably could argue that Riley Leonard is not what Notre Dame thought they were getting. But we talked about this earlier. Mike Denbrock and the rest of the coaching staff put him in position to be who they needed him to be able to execute at the level he needs to be able to get the program to where they want to be. Man, you can always find faster, better guys, better arms, all of that kind of stuff, but you still have to be able to fit in. You still have to be you got to be that connective tissue of that offense to be able to get the guys to do what you need them to do and to buy in. And, that's what you see. And that's why this is going to be I think it's going to be an outstanding matchup, without a doubt. And I know, some people on paper, you look at it and you say, how's it going to happen? Well, the reality is that they figured it out the last couple of weeks, right? So they're going to keep figuring out. They ain't all of a sudden going to get done. That's not going to happen. So, you look at it, and the recipe, like we talked about, keeping the quarterback upright. Can't have him under duress like he was last week. That's not going to be a good situation. But keep him upright. But he still found ways to move the chains and stay in manageable third down situations and be good in that situation.
During this run, Coach Freeman has been known, and his video halftime speeches have gone viral all season. He's been able to push the right buttons. Before I ask you this question, who was the best halftime? Who gave the best speeches? You know, whether it was Mike White, whether it's Shanahan, Marv, like in your time, college NFL for you, who gave the best halftime speeches and made the best adjustments?
Yeah, it's funny. You mentioned Mike White. That was the first name that came up because that was his deal. I mean, he could press buttons like that. I think at the pro level, you know, it's kind of a different situation. Where it's about, okay, the players need to hold each other accountable. This is what we're not doing. So it wasn't as much of being able to, the head coach from that perspective needed to press the buttons because you were already ready to go. I think at the college level, you've got to be able to press the buttons. You have to, and because you got to reach different people or wired differently. And even at the pro level they are, but at the college level it's important. Some guys need, hey man, I need to put my arm around you and walk you away from everybody else. Some people I can dog cuss you in front of everybody, and you know I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the rest of the team, but because I'm dog cussing you, you know, everybody else gets the message. So, you know, I think you have that. So understanding what your team needs at that moment is why it's so important to have the right guy, and why I said, you know, you guys noticed, I said from the very beginning that the dude was going to be, Marcus Freeman was going to be successful because of his makeup. Again, I said it earlier, I didn't think he was going to be here in his first head coaching job. That'd be a flat out lie, or I should be playing the lottery. But he presses the buttons and they believe in him. And to me, not being able, having strong coordinators and a strong coaching staff allows you as the head coach to be able to do that. If you're a connector and a people person to begin with, which he is, that's one of the things that allows him to have that type of success.
Once again, the Big Ten Network's Howard Griffith right here with MALIK, ZAIRE, Shaun Davis, Lefty podcast. Before we let our big bro go ahead and tell us, man, it's been close games the last couple of times they played. I'm not going to ask you for a score right now. We're too far out. We'll get that sometime next week. But just lay it out to us. You pretty much said you think it's going to be close. But do you think it's going to resemble, because they've been low-scoring games the last two times they played?
I think the low-scoring game favors. I think the low-scoring game favors Notre Dame to stay in the game. I don't know that Notre Dame wants to be in a shootout. Yeah. That's not a recipe for success, I don't believe. But they understand how they need to play the game to be able to do that. So a low-scoring game works out well. And that's why I say, listen, we need to see what's going to happen. What are going to be the adjustments that they make, you know, Notre Dame defensively to what Ohio State does pre-snap in the motions and the formations, and, you know, where you see certain players and how they line up. Because I think that'll be a recipe for how Notre Dame decides they want to defend them, at least through the first half, until they make adjustments if they need to at halftime or in-game adjustments.
I think it's a recipe for whoever's to the 30, the first to 30. That's the game right there. I don't believe Ohio State has enough. If they don't get their running game like Penn State's, I don't think they have enough to score 30 on their own. Passing ball. Will Howard. Now, for Ohio State,
here's the problem. Here's why I push back. If Notre Dame stays true to who they are defensively, man to man, as much as they want to play it, they're going to get caught with a bad matchup. Then
do you believe Will Howard though can make those throws all game? That's the I agree. We're going to play man.
It's not going to be all game. It ain't going to be all game.
I'm saying we're going to play man. We're definitely going to play
3 to 4. It'll be 3 to 4 plays, right? The opportunities that they're going to have that you can't miss.
Yes.
Will Howard has shown you he'll miss. We watched Drew Aller miss poorly.
Tons of open guys that could have won.
He was throwing lollipops.
But that's skill level. His skill wasn't at that level to hit that, in my opinion.
So, but they have to. And what we said about Aller all year is that they're going to be some plays you can't miss. It's the same thing with Will Howard.
He
cannot miss. If he misses early,
it's over with.
Then the confidence is shook. Right? Then the confidence.
And we saw his confidence in the second half of a Michigan game when he was missing early.
Yeah.
It don't get no better.
Yeah, I think he had some issues upstairs after that big hit he took. But that's neither here nor there. You still can't miss.
And Ryan Day need to take him out now. Take him out, Ryan Day. I don't want to hear he got hit because what they say, if you on the field, you're healthy.
No. We're not. Listen, he ain't coming out now. I'm not saying he should. Let's be for real. I'm not saying they said, oh, he's okay. I'm saying that, I mean, in this type of game, in the playoff, dude, you're playing. You're lying. Players lie. They lie all the time. I'm fine. You don't think you know how to beat a concussion test in a tent under these situations? Come on, man.
Our guy didn't beat it. Our guy had to go get a couple tests. He got knocked out. He had to go through halftime. You know?
Yeah, he took some shots. But I think it'll be Notre Dame has to be able to protect the quarterback. This will be the best defensive line that they've really seen that's playing at this level right now, trajectory-wise. These dudes they're playing real well. Linebackers are playing really well. There's some matchups at the corner position that they can win. Because if you look at Ohio State from a cornerback position, they'll get grabby on you in a heartbeat. They'll start tugging at jerseys and pulling and holding on in a heartbeat. So, there's some matchups. And that's why I say, there's going to be some situations you got to be able to hit it. You got to be able to hit it. And, both quarterbacks have shown that they can miss it. But the one that's able to make the plays and be consistent and stay upright, man, that's how this thing's going to play out.
Isn't it amazing? You talk about the impact of the portal. This dude, Cam Ward, was the first quarterback Ohio State went after.
Mm-hmm.
The next quarterback to come in on a visit was Riley Leonard.
Mm-hmm.
And then Will Howard.
Yeah.
I can't even imagine if Cam Ward had been the quarterback at Ohio State. You talk about being scary. That would have been unfair.
Yeah. Here's the thing, though. And this is where I give both quarterbacks, both of these teams, a lot more credit than maybe some of the other guys. Because I think the scrutiny that you're under playing the quarterback position at Notre Dame and Ohio State, because Ohio State, too, I mean, you public enemy number one if things aren't going right. You talk about that loss, it was Ryan Day and it was Will Howard. They ready to run both of them out of town. Remember, this is a fan base.
Oh, we already know. Cal McCord was the scapegoat.
Yeah,
you already got scapegoat McCord.
Stroud, they wanted him out.
True.
People forget all about that. They wanted him gone. Bench this guy for McCord, right? So it's the same. And Notre Dame has that same thing. They're always looking past the dude that's under center at that moment. So it's not only being able to play at a high level for your own individual perspective, but it's because of the team, the offense, then the team, then the fan base, the expectations are there. And you have to learn how to play quarterback. Then you have to learn how to be a quarterback with the microscope on you all the time. And both of these young men, regardless of their skill level, have shown the determination and at least the mental toughness to try to battle through this. They're playing in a championship. One of these guys, obviously, is going to be the national championship, and is going to be the quarterback that led the team. Right? One of them is going to all of a sudden become legendary. Right?
All of a sudden, it happens fast.
All those things change. So the opportunity is out there for both of these guys. And again, we talk about the skill level, and at this point, it doesn't matter, right? Because you still have to. Everybody else has to play around them. Everybody else has to play their best game, and they're going to touch the ball and get their teams in and out of plays. But man, that's why I'm getting excited about this, and we still got some time to go.
I agree.
Left has been on social media getting the Buckeye fans riled up.
I'm sure he has.
Okay, I can ask you a very fair question, Mr. Big Ten, Mr. Howard Griffin. In the 15 years of Ohio State's greatness at quarterback, is Will Howard a guy you're taking over the 15-year span? We're saying from two.
You don't even have to. You don't have to finish. You don't have to finish. No.
Okay, now I said it because I believe as a Al Golden defense, it takes more than just a functional guy to have a really good day versus Notre Dame. He's gonna have to be in the 270, 280, maybe 300.
Ooh,
get it done.
If he's at that,
I mean, they're beating us. They're beating us.
If he is at that,
but does people really believe that he can do that against the secondary that's going to give him looks that's going to confuse him? It's confused everybody.
You got to be able to hit him.
And that's what I'm saying. The game's going to come down to about 5 or 6 open. Why is nobody else you can blame? He didn't hit it or he hit it.
Yeah. And
I don't believe he can hit
it. It comes down to pre-snap. Can you make that adjustment? And there are going to be times where your eyes are lying to you. And it's going to also
it just happens. It just happens.
Your eyes lie to you, and you got to quickly be able to move on. And that's why it's going to be a great matchup, man. I just,
I think we can't play into the hands of Ohio State where we're allowing the Jack Sawyers and the JTs and the D line to feel comfortable knowing, they have to pass here. Because when they started,
they're gonna rush forward. That's all they're gonna do.
That's what I'm saying. They're gonna rush forward
until you get them out. And that's why I say if Notre Dame can go big personnel and run the ball down their throat while they're still playing nickel,
it's gonna be. Then we got a game. Now we working with some stuff.
Right. So it's. All of that is going to be right in the middle of it. But I think Notre Dame is also smart enough that they're not going to keep banging their head into that. That's why I think that the coordinators, obviously, in every game, I mean, this going to be big time. This is going to be an unbelievable game. And now, again, I was talking earlier, you had the 2 head coaches that get to make decisions. They get to have a feel for the game. They can get the feel because neither one of them are going to be concerned, or I shouldn't say they'll all be concerned about every call that's being made, but they won't be so involved in the plays that are coming that they can't, well, if we go here, this is what we can do. Well, is this a great time for special teams? And can we do something here that's unconventional? So, all of those things that are going to go into it.
And it's going to be interesting to watch. January the 20th, Notre Dame, actually the higher seed in the home team. That's crazy, right there.
You can believe that. Look at the seeding. That seeding is a whole nother discussion. We talked about this before. They got to fix that. They got to.
You think so? Because if you fix
this automatic bid stuff is ridiculous.
Are you watering down? Then are you either eliminating the conference championship?
Yeah.
I'm not. The championship game is what the championship game is, but I don't necessarily. If you're not, and that also leads into scheduling. I think these schedules have to. It never will happen, but I think these schedules need to become more balanced. I think you might want to reseed. But I think part of it,
reseed the 12.
Yeah. I just
don't.
If
you get 12, you shuffle them up, type of deals.
Well, yeah, because I just think that we just look at the teams that played the home games, or the higher seeds, or not the home games, but that got buys.
I love the message. I respect the message that James Franklin was trying to deliver. Mm-hmm. He was just the wrong dude to do it.
Just the wrong dude, because he ain't.
First of all, you didn't play Indiana or Oregon during the regular season.
Or Oregon.
So you need to shut up. If Ryan Day says it, he played Oregon, he played Penn State, he played Michigan, and he played Indiana. If Ryan Day steps up and says, everybody, we need to have more balanced scheduling to make sure that we can really assess who needs to be seeded and how things are seeded, I'm fine with that. James Franklin saying it, dude, Hush.
You had a cakewalk during the regular season, and then you got a cakewalk during the playoffs with the teams you had to play, and you still couldn't get it done. You still Which is why, again, I say, reseeding would be good.
So you want to reseed?
You would shuffle the pick out of a hat?
No, I would reseed, like the whole automatic bid thing. The only reason the automatic bid thing is there is because when you looked at Notre Dame, SEC, and the Big Ten Conference, when they negotiated figured this whole thing out, that was the only way they could get the other conferences to sign off on it. They had to be able, otherwise, everyone would have been scared. It'd have been Notre Dame and 5 Big Ten teams or 4 Big Ten teams, 5 SEC teams. So they had to try to get some equity there with the other conferences. And trust me, it all ended up working because, you ended up with an Arizona State team that was exciting to watch, right? They pulled in some big numbers. So I just think that it was crazy to see Oregon. They ended up losing, but their path, right? Then you look at Penn State's path. And, so it didn't seem as equitable as maybe it should have been. And I'm not debating, not pulling for a Big Ten team or not. I just think Ohio State, Oregon at that particular moment wasn't necessarily the spot for that game. I don't think the way they were playing this year. Now
I know that the committee had to put Georgia in our path. I think they did that on purpose.
Well,
because
the
4th seed, right?
But remember this: the committee didn't do the seeding. The committee just ranked the teams. The seeding was already done by what was negotiated for the playoffs. Mm-hmm. So that's what I'm saying. You got the committee, and then you have what those positions were as far as the playoff spots were going, and who got what seed and that sort of thing. So I think that's the part I'm saying that probably needs to be worked out, because what happens over here with the committee, they're sitting there trying to figure out what they're trying to figure out. And we all believe that, okay, well, they want the best games, and whether or not it was Indiana and Indiana needed to be there is another discussion. We know how well they played, but at the end of the day, they will tell you that at that moment, they were not anywhere near where Notre Dame was at that time. So, I just think reseeding works. I think listen, it's all going to get tweaked this off season, no matter what. But the best part about this one is Ohio State, Notre Dame. This is going to be a really good game, and I think no one will be disappointed, except for obviously the team that doesn't win it.
If somebody pushed back, real quick, and said, look, the best 2 teams made it through anyway, like regardless of the seeding. Because I don't think Penn State wasn't a better team than Ohio State. I don't care if Ohio State had one more loss. They played at Penn State. Yeah. Ohio State, in my opinion, should have blown them out, had the opportunity to blow them out, kept them in the game. Penn State James Franklin does what he does late in big games. He did it in the
I think so. So my point about the pushing, the reseeding is I don't debate at all whether the 2 best teams that are playing the best football right now are playing in this game. And at the end of the day, that's the way it should work out, right? Mm-hmm. But I just think there were some other matchups that probably shouldn't have been there, or should have happened earlier.
Boise State, Penn State.
Some teams shouldn't. Yeah, getting a bye. I think a bye should go to literally the best team, not because you won a conference. If you're not the best team, one of the best 4 teams, you should not be getting a bye.
You can go ahead and say let Notre Dame be in the top 4.
But
go ahead and say it.
That's another discussion.
You don't have to be scared.
No, I'm just saying it didn't work out.
Notre Dame deserved to get a bye. You can say it.
They definitely. We definitely deserve to get a. Come on, man. Come on.
Notre Dame doesn't need a bye.
Boise State
is the great. Listen, this is the greatest move in the history of college athletics, right? Oh, we can go undefeated and we get the number 5 spot. We can make another, $15, $20 million at a home game, and we know we're going to win. Come on, man.
We told people, Jack Swarbrick was like, okay, y'all beefing over the top 4 spots. Give us 5, but let us get the home game so we can just get a little piggy bank going, a little bankroll going.
Come on, man.
He said, we'll take the
That's
money.
it.
We don't care about the spots because we're all regardless. Whoever's
Yeah.
playing in the Ice Bowl in the
Mhm.
first playoff game is not to their advantage. So, you know, the college football playoffs try to be funny, try to be cute, and put IU in the spot and say, oh, well, they both cold weather. That's okay. Because in the future, we're just going to keep collecting the first round check. That's what we do.
There you go. There you go.
No
Again,
splits.
it was
No split.
it's unbelievable. Y'all want to agree? Y'all want to agree? Yeah, this man, great.
Great.
Are you gonna be at ATL next week, bro? On the field?
Yeah, man, I'm headed down there Friday, I think. Thursday, Friday, one of them days.
All right, I'll
be down
tap
there.
in.
Yeah, for sure.
Hey, big brother Howard Griffith, once again, Big Ten Network. Can check him out, I'm sure, all week leading up to the game, and then the day of the game, day before the game, coverage on the field in Atlanta. We'll talk to you next week, bro.
All right, fellas, take care. Have a great one.
Absolutely. Once again, we thank Howard Griffith for jumping on with us and being so gracious with his time left. Yo, man, it started day by day. My expectation gets a little bit higher. Like, all right, I'm ready to get to the game now.
I mean, come on now. I mean,
I'm
we
ready.
set
I'm
the
ready to get
stage.
to
We
it.
set the
Hey,
stage.
you made it to the Dan Levitard show this morning, bro.
The who?
Dan Levitard. It's his people.
Is that the Independent?
I said, Left, you are really stirring the pot, my brother. But I love the fact you standing for your squad. And this is the thing. Because somebody was like, yo, what's up with him standing? That was the funny thing to me, standing as if a former player shouldn't rep for his school. And
Yeah,
I'm like, yo,
the
same trash he's talking about Will Howard, he talked about Drew Allen. And he
I'm
talked about
very fair.
he talked the same trash about Carson Beck. Like, this isn't new. He's been saying if you don't have the quarterback to make the plays, I'll give you a perfect example. I wouldn't even call Jaden Maava a big time quarterback. He made some throws on that day. On that day,
Listen,
he made the necessary
and
throws.
nobody
to
can
USC.
complain and say in that opportunity.
He went
We
to the
didn't see
well one too many
UCLA.
times, but he went to the well one too many times.
Hey, that's all I'm saying. It's like even if he was on fire, you're still going against a defense that's going to respond eventually and found out the answers. And unfortunately for us, you get 2 pick sixes to win the game. That's elite defense. That's adjustment to a hot guy that's playing hot. I remember when Trevor Siemian was hot, we couldn't do nothing about it. He tore us up, and he could have went even crazier if the receivers caught the football.
He got to the NFL off you guys.
He got to the NFL off of that game. Facts. That's what I'm like.
Facts.
That was special. And all I'm saying is that Will has to be special in these moments. And for it to be literally the game of all games, the national championship, I'm not saying Riley's going to come out of nowhere and throw for 330 plus yards and do all these things that he hasn't done before. I'm just saying that it's going to be moments in this national championship game, the last game you can play, that you're going to have to be a standalone individual and make some plays. I just don't believe after watching you in moments where you had to back against the wall, it's not about us being overly dominant on another team, where they're like, okay, this is what we paid you for to come do. You showed that, in my opinion, your true colors. So, like I've said about Riley was going to struggle early, and he did. Did he figure it out? Did the team come around him, and did he end up playing in the way he can play to help win games? He figured it out. Can Riley go into this game and throw for 90 yards and us beat Ohio State by double digits? Probably not. He probably can't do that. But am I saying that he's going to have 400 yards and Bo Collins going to have 3 touchdowns and Jordan Gray is going to? No, but that's what Ohio State's trying to tell me about Will Howard. And I'm like, y'all must not have either seen us play this whole year or think that he's just going to become this new quarterback for one game. When the game he just left from, your best receiver had 1 reception for 3 yards. So I already know in Ryan's day head, he's like, we're not going to.
Oh, they're forcing the issue.
Yeah, we're not going to play around and have one reception
like
with Jeremiah
early.
Smith. He might get 10 targets in the first half. He might. I already know he's going to get targets in the first half. That's just this is our best player, and he's going to be on display in the national. That's obvious, but I would do the same. I'm just saying, okay, we know that's coming, and we got corners, in my opinion, based off of how our corners played against arguably a better receiver at that time and juncture in his career. We handled it. Marvin Harrison Jr. is at a better junction at last year than where Jeremiah Smith is. This is Jeremiah Smith's first year in college football. And for a season top draft pick, Marvin Harrison Jr., for us to hold him to 30 yards. Now, our guy was pretty darn good too. That's a win for Notre Dame, regardless of what he did after the game, what he ended up doing in the league, what he ended up doing in the draft. That game, we won that matchup. That's my opinion. This game coming up, it's no different. Leonard Moore is on the same track without the amount of interceptions as a Ben Morrison. Jeremiah Smith, obviously freshman of the year, breaking freshman records. He's at the talent level, in my opinion, of a Marvin Harrison Jr. Maybe a little faster, a little stronger. But it's still a matchup that I think favorably, on top of adding Will Howard throwing the ball, we should be all right. It's not like it's Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams where I'm like, well, shit, even when he's there, he might throw some shit. He might back shoulder and muscle. It's going to be a 50-50 chance.
Yeah. Unless
Leonard Moore or Christian Gray falls down. Christian Gray's going to get beat at some point in the game. I'm comfortable with it now. Before I was like,
when you say get beat, so you have to clarify that.
I got to clarify.
If you beat Christian, it's going to have to be a darn good pass.
It's a darn good pass. It's good effort, good catch. He's there.
It's a PI.
Or it's a PI where okay.
Because he likes to
I'm
swat.
okay because he played. That's how he played.
Correct.
Remember, he got the pick and it was a clear penalty and he was pissed off. he jumping around. I'm like, Christian, you definitely held his ass. Like, all the way, grabbed him off the line, and you're upset that they're calling you a penalty because he made the pick. You see what I'm saying? So that's how he's going to play. I can tell his hands have gotten better.
His hands have gotten better as the years gone on.
Gotten better. I mean, he's literally
he
evolved.
Dropped about 4 or 5 early in the year.
Army, Navy. I mean, I remember one-on-one post routes.
Game 1, Texas A&M. That should have been a pick 6 to end the game.
So pick 6. Christian Gray, I'm not worried about, even if they have Jeremiah Smith, because I know that he's going to win some. Jeremiah Smith's going to win some, but that's not determining the game. I think it's the consistent effort from Will Howard spreading the ball with a run game that's effective enough. Me and you don't believe Ryan Day is going to commit to the run as much as he probably saw Penn State do, because his whole ego is we have the best receiver core every year. And no way in the national championship, we're not going to try to highlight that, regardless of the running game saving us in all these games. So unless I'm telling you, if we give up all this rushing yards like we did Penn State, well, they wore on us in the first half. We adjusted, but they wore on us. It's going to be tough sledding because Will's not the worst quarterback in the world. He's average. And like we said last night,
hey, he's good enough.
And that's what I'm saying. And like we said last night, Penn State had guys so open that if their quarterback was above average or even average, they would have beat us by 2 touchdowns. I mean, dudes running wide open. And Drew didn't have
your tight ends and running backs might have been running.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
They had guys running. No, wide receivers. No, they're strapped. I'm talking about they had guys running down the field while, like the running back on the little, he was wide for like 90 yards. It would have been crazy.
Heck, the touchdown that Nick Singleton dropped. This was
he pulled behind him. And I told you Drew Aller was buns. That's why Drew Aller knew he was buns and came back. He watched that game. And he said, there's no way I go to the league after that. There's just no way. He didn't waste no time to say he was coming back. It took a couple days.
He probably begged both his running backs to come back with him too. Like,
he said, please, bro.
I can't do it without you.
I can't do it. I definitely can't do it without you. I need to get better, but I definitely can't do it without y'all too. And that's fine. They might make another run at it, and hopefully they get better from this last year, which is the goal. You know, obviously not here now. We can be next year. But for a guy like Will Howard, I don't think he's any different than Drew Aller. I think his team buffered him to where you don't have to see if he can do it or not. Come on, look at their schedule, look at their team, look at how they're being constructed. Will has been, and somebody mentioned on Twitter yesterday, 20 other quarterbacks in the country can go do what Will has done at Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
Just like 10 or 15 other quarterbacks in the country can come and do what Riley Leonard's done. Riley Leonard's only thrown for 2,300 yards, dude. You telling me 30 quarterbacks in college football can't do that at Notre Dame? So our difference is we've made Riley into something that fits specifically to winning.
See, this is I appreciate I think his name is Mr. Bugnuts. He's actually been a super cool Ohio State fan in the chat. He asked a question earlier. I didn't get a chance to highlight it. But, you know, if you guys can't run the ball, what are you going to do? At some point, Notre Dame's going to run the ball.
At some point, it's just at
Ohio
some
State's
point.
not going to shut them down for 4 quarters running the ball.
Especially if y'all didn't do it to IU. Especially if y'all didn't do it to IU. IU was doing what they wanted.
IU was running the ball in the first half.
Come on, IU was running it like, and we handled their run game. I'm just saying, yes, you're gonna have.
Let me just make this point. Let me make this point, then you can go ahead because I know you're gonna be able to just lay it out even better. This is why you play the game, man. This is not a video game. This is not stats. This is not 40 times. This is not. You know, we don't. Your receivers, dog. You scored 20 points against Penn State. We just put up 27.
That's it.
Penn State is the top 5 defense. You scored 20. We scored 27, and you got better talent.
You got better talent, yes.
So that's that, and I'm not using it because it's not the transitive property doesn't work.
Yeah,
so it's like, that doesn't matter on January the 20th.
It don't matter. That's what I'm saying.
All of that talk, like your receivers, dude. Jaden Greathouse did what he had to do.
Broke it through.
Notre Dame receivers, they can't get off man-to-man coverage. And he made the dude fall in the middle.
Made the dude fall, and then made another dude miss, and then walked into the end zone for about 70 yards.
That is the dangerous part of the game. Notre Dame has scored an average 38 points without having a Jeremiah Smith. They don't have a dude. See, if Jeremiah Smith doesn't get going, you're not putting up 30 points.
And they didn't. They had 21. They had 21 points, and then they had Jack Sawyer's touchdown. That was 28. Yes. They had 7 going into half, and then scored another touchdown off of an 80-yard running back screen play. That play, I guarantee you, wasn't meant to score. I don't think they called that and say, "Oh, this is a home run hitter." They called that to get out the half, and Texas blew it. So you're talking about 2 plays, one by defense, and then one by a miscue on the Texas defense that gave y'all 14 points. The same 14 points y'all won by. It was 14-28. So if Jack Sawyer isn't amazing for one play and Texas doesn't slip up for a screen, this is a tighter game. Now, obviously, that's hypotheticals.
It's hypotheticals and ifs. I don't even want to get into that. It's simple for me. Mr. Bucknuts asked, what are y'all going to do if you can't run the ball? Everybody knows we're going to run the ball, and nobody has been able to stop us for 4 quarters. Ohio State is not going to do it for 4 quarters. It's not for
4 quarters.
Penn
State couldn't do it for 4 quarters. They were playing good.
Can they hold us under 200 like Penn State did? Probably. Yeah. But Notre Dame can win with 140, just like they did against Penn State.
That's what I'm saying.
That's it. Yes. And if Notre Dame runs for 200, it's a wrap.
It's over with. It's over with. Yeah, it's over with. Don't let
that means your offense isn't on the field.
Yep.
And we're putting up points.
And we have explosives. Somebody got explosive runs and all. Somebody's doing it.
How does Notre Dame do it offensively? It's somebody different every week. 1 week.
It's somebody different. Jeremiah Love had the best highlights in the Army game and had 7 carries? He had the best highlights in the Army game and had 7 carries. Come on.
Jeremiah Love gets hurt points against USC. Here comes Jadarian Price.
Jadarian Price.
You know what I'm saying?
Texas A&M.
Need a big play in the passing game. Put your 2 freshman running back on the sluggo out in the flat.
Put your freshman slug. The trust. The trust. You
That's
put
what.
Aeneas Williams in a semifinal playoff game, true freshman. Dina McCullough said, call his number.
Thank you.
Empty him out. Go one-on-one. Come on, man. It's somebody different every
this is the difference. You ask the question. You don't have to agree, but I'm telling you. When they played at the Horseshoe, it was Michael Mayer or nothing.
Or nothing.
That's it. It was Michael Mayer or nothing.
We even had Jaden Harrison get a kickoff return touch. Nobody guessed it.
Tyler Buckner, our placeholder on special teams, was the quarterback.
Come on, dog. Come on, dog. Talk to him. Talk to him.
On special teams was the quarterback. Going up against CJ Stroud.
Come on now. Tyler Buckner.
It was Michael Mayer or nothing.
Or nothing.
You come last year. You come to Notre Dame.
We was on. See, your guy here by the skinny.
But it was Aldrich Estime or nothing.
All day, whatever he wanted.
That's all it was. Aldrich
and the same guys that are out there on Monday.
Which is one of Marcus Freeman's biggest mistakes. On the game, the drive that could have sealed the game, we're running the ball down the throat, and they take Aldrich Estime off the field.
And they take him off the field to throw a screen that almost got picked off.
That is, look, Notre Dame, the attitude is different. And the offense is not about one person like it's been the previous 2 years. Mitchell Evans can get at you. Jordan Faison can get at you.
Jordan Faison sneakily is the momentum shift in most games.
They don't have to have 60 catches. Every week is somebody. That's the danger.
Bo Collins caught the post touchdown in the Georgia game, and we didn't see him after that. But he caught that touchdown. I mean, come on. I mean, if you can, that's how you know you have a great team.
It's hard to explain to people because they just want to look at stats.
They want to look at their best players. But we're built.
Look at stats and say, well, we got this, we got that. Yeah, dude. Notre Dame just finds a guy that's going to work on that particular.
Somebody's like, I'm going to make the play today. That's literally how we've been playing all season.
So now, let's say Ohio State focuses on Jaden Greathouse. Like, oh, Jaden Greathouse was that guy against Penn State. Yeah, but Jordan Faison was the guy against
Jordan Faison was got
in Indiana.
Versus Georgia.
Well, so who is it going to be? Like, who is it going to be?
You going to worry about 4? You can't worry about 4 too much because 4 gets an average of like 11 carries. It's like, that's not even enough to make a game plan around. It's not even enough to make a game. So, but if you let 4 do whatever, he might break 2 touchdowns for 100+ yards on you.
That's why you have to respect both of the offenses, bro. You have to respect both of the offenses. You have to, man. You have to. And I'm not being petty, Mr. Bugnuts. But the wide receiver core from Michigan has been trashed the last 4 years, and they still smacked y'all. How? Explain to me how Michigan was able to score with mid receivers over the last 4 seasons. See, this is what, dude, mid receivers. J.J. McCarthy wasn't all that. So how are they able to do it? I'm sure you felt like Michigan is going to be able to run the ball on us. What are they going to do if they don't run the ball? Win? Football is not about, dude. Once again.
Maybe they got us, I don't know. Maybe they are living in the past, or they may not have paid attention, but that's what I've always said about Notre Dame this whole season. Because it's not about the quarterback. We have so much talent. And
let me ask you a question. Mr. Bucknuts, let me ask you a question. In all fairness, and I'm just answering your question. In all fairness, what if your offensive line can't protect against Al Golden's pressure? Then what?
It's going to be a long day, man.
It's going to be a long day.
This is going to be a long day.
So we can sit up here and do ifs
all day.
Hey, we can do ifs all day. We go pull up Will Howard's stats against pressure. They're not good.
Not great.
They're not good. And that's it. Both teams have shown that they can win when they're not able to do what they want to do. That's the beauty of this football game. So just as easy as you can ask me, what does Notre Dame do if they can't run the ball? I can't tell you that because I haven't seen them not be able to run the ball.
I can't even tell you what it looked like.
I can't tell you what it looks like. I wish I had a better answer. I wish I had a better answer. You're right, and vice versa. This is the thing. We haven't seen Ohio State get pressured yet. Georgia pressured the heck out of Riley Leonard, and they lost by 2 touchdowns. So
because Riley Leonard is a quasi type of play.
Penn State pressured the heck out of Riley Leonard.
That's what I'm saying. He's a quasi blitzing the hell out of a guy that's throwing for 2,300 yards isn't going to get you the win, man. It's just not. Blitzing a guy that's throwing for 90 yards in the game is not going to get you a win. It's a combination of everybody has to play good. You have to be ready to say, this is the Jeremiah Love drive. We have to stop Jeremiah Love. And then next drive, guess what? We have to pay attention for a Jordan Faison screen. Next, guess what? It's third and short. They're going to 1-3. We got to stop 1-3 on this play. We can't worry about what's happening next or before. 1-3 on the third and short. They're giving the ball to him. That's how Ohio State has to take this matchup, as every play is a new play. It's going to be hard to sit there and say we have tendencies, but those tendencies are ran by different people.
That's all we're saying, bro.
That's all we're saying.
That's all we're saying. Notre Dame has not seen a wide receiver core like Ohio State.
We haven't.
Ohio State has not seen
a total defense
packages with talent on the back end. You do realize Xavier Watts is a first-round safety. He, just like Caleb Downs is.
Has better stats than Caleb Downs.
Nobody
wants to say that.
Has a first-round safety and a future
arguably a future first-round safety too.
Like, but Notre Dame doesn't have anybody. Oh, the dude only won in Nagurski last year.
The dude only has better stats than your favorite safety on your team, and the guy next to him is a compliment. Like, come on. Like, our 2 DBs have matured so much where they look like veterans. I'm totally comfortable with both of them being out there.
It's like Notre Dame is not shaking in their boots, dude.
They're
like,
man.
Like, dude, we put our pants on the same way y'all do. And we future first rounders.
They're not consistent enough to make us afraid of man-to-man. Come on, bro. You don't go one reception for 3 yards and think that we're going to be afraid of that if you can't repeat great performances.
Al Golden is good at what he does. He's not stupid.
He's not
stupid.
And he adjusts. That's the thing. Penn State, you got a good scheme. Y'all doing a bunch of moving around, shifting, motions, sweeps, all variety of plays, screens, looking great. Perfect timing. Second half, third quarter, you didn't do anything. So all that game planning for days, just a second half adjustment shut off the water on y'all. That means that Al Golden is good at what he did. He saw what you was doing, broke it down, adjusted. We got guys that have played 70 games like Zach Kaiser.
Did you say Texas? You feel like Texas defense is better than Notre Dame's?
Oh, Lord Jesus. They haven't watched us play. I'm just saying they haven't watched us play all season. They just haven't watched us. They just haven't watched us, man. They just haven't watched us. Texas defense against Georgia was doing what?
Dude,
no receivers.
We watched one player throwing up on the sideline, light Texas up. Arizona State lit Texas up literally with one play. One.
He had 235 yards. He threw one. He caught one. He ran one. Like, this is one guy.
And then, wait a minute. Let's be honest. You're disrespecting yourself. Because if Ohio State does not commit dumb penalties in the first half, they're up 21-0 on Texas. They're moving the ball with ease.
Georgia beat Texas twice. Georgia beat Texas twice in this season. We double-digit Georgia. We double-digit a team that y'all was struggling with that they beat twice.
Cade Klubnik was lighting Texas up.
And he's coming back. Again, I don't even know how he has another year. And he's still coming back.
That's another mid quarterback. Lighting Texas up. Come on, man.
I can't believe they try to disrespect. Man, listen.
They gave up an 80-yard screen, bro.
With 3 seconds left. Come on.
It wasn't 3 seconds left. It was more like.
It was like 7 seconds. It was the last play of half.
No, it wasn't.
Oh, 30. It was 30 seconds left. Sorry.
30 seconds left. Yeah, it wasn't
the last real drive before half.
You try to pay Ohio State fans compliments, telling them how talented they are.
They don't like
it. Y'all got to stop inflating who y'all are, bro. Y'all put up 20 points against the same defense Notre Dame just put up 27 against. The same exact defense. You put up 20. 20. Stop. Just stop. Like, it hurts you to just pay Notre Dame a compliment and say, yo, it's disrespectful to say the last Texas defense has been nowhere near Notre Dame's defense the last 2 years. Stop. It's okay just to compliment Notre Dame. Like, you know what? I don't think it's a good idea for you all to play us man to man as much as you do, but you got a good defense.
They do got a good defense. I agree. I don't understand how they
take the compliment.
The Ohio State fans want you to be like, man, we can't.
They want you to praise. They want you to praise them.
They like, yo, y'all are so good. We shouldn't even be there.
Like, oh, you have no business in the building.
We have no business being. I'm like, come on, dog. We have no business. Y'all can't even play the game of y'all got some stuff. We got some stuff. It'll be a good match. Y'all just saying 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns, 100 points. Give me 50,000 on a like. Where is it? Like, come on now. Y'all not being fair.
You can say you have. This is fun. I'm having fun with this, man. I'm having fun with this. You guys are great. The chat is always great at LL. So, you got Notre Dame as a top 3 defense. Who's 2 and 3?
Who's 2 and 3? Please, come on, dog. Who's 2 and 3?
And I say that in all respect. I say that from this point of view. We're doing this with our backups. See, you have your top 2 pass rushers. Our top 2 pass rushers have been out for the year since the middle of the season.
The year. We thought they only played 3 games.
Our All-American defensive back that would be sticking Jeremiah Smith
was done in 4 games.
He got hurt, left. Our nickel. Because he couldn't beat out the freshman. He transferred to Cal. Middle of the season. I'm out. Leonard Moore is too good.
Come on, man.
Too good. We're doing this with backups. Riley Mills, day 2 pick in the NFL draft. One of the best highly rated defensive tackles, along with Howard Cross.
Not even playing in the game.
Not playing.
Boubacar Traore.
Backups.
Not playing. Jordan Botello, who came for his senior year, not even playing. Come on, man. We're doing this with guys that just got to campus.
And y'all are doing it totally healthy.
Y'all doing it healthy and struggling. Healthy, but struggling.
They're not struggling. Come on, they're not struggling.
They were struggling versus Texas. They were struggling versus IU being healthy.
No, they did struggle to cover the running backs out the backfield.
Come on.
They did struggle with that. But I wouldn't say they were struggling.
We got a young guy, Bryce Young, out there just learning.
Corey Simon was balling. Ransom had a couple of plays. I like their defense, man. I really do. I just think it's absolute. People are underrating. Because if you say you've watched Notre Dame 7 times this year, and you don't realize that Notre Dame is literally doing what they're doing and being consistent with backups, freshmen and sophomores, come on, man.
That's all I'm saying. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Put some respect on our name. That's it. Nobody said no. Dude, I don't know what podcast you watch. It's 2 teams we talked about all year left. 2 teams outside of Notre Dame. What were the 2 teams we said we didn't want Notre Dame, and Notre Dame fans that follow us can attest to this. Middle of the season, what did we say? The 2 teams that would give us the most trouble if we had to face them in the playoffs, Ohio State and Georgia.
Every time.
Thank you. We've been saying it for weeks, middle of the season. If we face these two teams, other than those two teams, we can scrape everybody else.
We can. That's what I'm saying. It's like, oh man, give us
other than
fair,
Georgia and
guys.
Ohio. Thank you, Ed 3. We've been saying it for weeks during the middle of the season. There's two teams we'll struggle with. We think we can still beat them, but it's gonna be a battle.
Because let's be honest, we've been right all season. We were right about Riley. We were right about the two teams that we were worried about. You said Oregon could possibly be it, but I'm like, Oregon's not tough enough. The style of play of what Ohio State brings and the program narrative in the height of the yes, we that's why we wanted those two teams. The team wanted these two teams to validate what we've been saying about this season. This is the season where we're determining, are we worth being that dynasty that we say we are? And we can only validate that by going through the two teams that have either done it or built like it or have been seen as you can't be considered a champion until you beat these two teams. It used to be Alabama, but we seen a good old St. Nick leaves what happens. But it came down to two. I'm not giving Oregon that credit because Oregon, Dan Lanning likes to give
fraudulent.
us. Yeah, he's fraudulent.
Fraudulent.
But the two teams
can't wait to see our boy Dante next year, though. I'm excited.
You saw what the receiver said about Dante. They said he will win the Heisman next year.
No, I want to see Dante.
They said the man out there and he's just doing things is making it look easy. Almost they talked like he should have been playing against
Ohio State. That's the way they were talking.
No, they was talking. I'm not going to say that, that's controversial.
I'm not. This is why. Listen, man. Listen. I didn't say Notre Dame was better than Ohio State defensively. What I said is a case could be stated. Take Jack Sawyer, JT, and Caleb Downs, because that's basically what Notre Dame has had to play with since the middle of the season defensively. They lost Benjamin Morrison, they lose Riley Mills, and they lose
Jordan Botello and Traore.
The three best players from Ohio State's defense and tell me that they're going to keep the same level of defense.
I bet you they would have lost to Nebraska. I bet you they would have lost to Nebraska.
That's all I'm saying.
I bet you they would have lost to Nebraska not healthy. Come on now. Y'all came down to the wire with Nebraska at home.
That's all we're saying.
With your full defense. So stop acting like
you're watching Notre Dame do what they do with
backups. Oh, I'm sorry. Let's give some respect to you guys. 1Bs. We built the roster for 1A and 1B. They're not twos. They don't play like twos. They play like guys that have been ready, just a slight hair difference than the guy they put above them. Come on. We have built a roster that nobody in the country can explain yet. That's why everybody says, look at the top players on every team. Because when you look at Notre Dame and you wonder how is it not just stop Riley and that's it? Because we have built a roster on 1As and 1Bs. Aeneas Williams is interchangeable with a Jadarian Price, interchangeable with a Kedron Young. And I give respect to Jeremiah Love. He is our best running back. But production-wise, that room can still produce.
Let me ask you something. Tim Priester on the Irish Illustrated podcast said that Jeremiah is the greatest running back in Notre Dame history. At first, because I'm a historian, bro. Yeah, I started thinking about the three running backs. I almost shot back real quick on Twitter. And then I sat back and I really thought about it. And I had to say to myself, Left, we're not talking about numbers. Because now you're talking about accomplishments. I'm just talking about purely watching somebody play the position. All I'm saying is he's top 3 right now. All time.
I mean, it's hard to, and this is crazy.
That I've ever seen.
And that's on minimal carries.
I've ever seen. And I go
the other 2 running backs that you're probably mentioning had way more carries than Jeremiah Love.
And I said,
That's
this is
what
not
makes
about
it
a stat.
crazy.
People are thinking about stats and confidence. I'm just purely watching how somebody plays the position. He's better than everybody in the last decade.
See, wait a minute.
Ooh.
Kyron Williams needs to be up there too, then.
Stop.
Kyron Williams is playing slot receiver. Look what he's doing in the league now.
All right. What do you think Jeremiah is going to do in the league? What are we talking about?
I don't know if Jeremiah Love got receiver skills like Kyron now. Come on now. Like Kyron? Jack Cohn used to be like, I'm going one-on-one with linebackers.
All I'm going to say is wait until a better passer of the ball comes. Just wait.
Okay. Because right now, Kyron Williams top 3.
Just wait.
And on top of that,
you know, we think people didn't want to give. We always said Kyron was going to do this. Kyron played behind one of the worst offensive lines. Okay. On top of having to literally be the offense. Facts.
Facts. Jeremiah Love doesn't have to be the offense. Kyron Williams had to be the offense behind the not a great offensive line at that time. Had to catch the ball to win the game, had to run the ball to win the game, had to block to win the game. If it wasn't for Kyron, we're literally leaving like 3 or 4 games on the table.
See, this is why Kyron and Jeremiah will probably be the top 2. I don't want to do Aldrick ain't in, please. Aldrick's not in the conversation. He's not. Aldrick's, man. Love Aldrick Estimate.
We wanted Aldrick to leave gracefully because of who he had behind him.
Because of 4.
And we said 4 has to play. It's not even a knock on Aldrick. 4 just has to be in the game at some point.
He's different. And I think Tim Priester said, even if he doesn't get the ball, he impacts the defense.
Yes.
Every play he's on the field.
Yes.
That's because initially I was like, it's too early. Then I really took some time to think about it, and I was like, I'm just purely going off of watching. We've never seen anybody like Ford at the running back position, bro. Not that explosiveness. Kyron's not that explosive, bro. He was never that explosive.
Kyron is a great football player.
He's all-around football player. He's Aeneas Williams. Aeneas Williams
doesn't have the explosiveness of Kyron.
Mm-hmm.
He's Aeneas Williams. Thank you. He is Aeneas Williams. That's exactly who Kyron is. Well, Aeneas is Kyron, but Jeremiah Love has more talent. But Aeneas and Kyron are great football players. I think, that's just, you just got, I don't know, man. It's crazy. But Jeremiah Love, talent-wise, undoubtedly. Man,
let me tell you something. Look, I'm not saying he's right. I'm just saying I have to take a step back and say, yo, I'm not mad. That's not a thought or an opinion that I'm mad at as a Notre Dame fan. I get it. He's seen a lot more of Notre Dame football than I have. All I know is that dude is different. I never watched Kyron play and said that dude is different.
No.
I said the dude is really good and probably better than people give him credit for. But I haven't watched a Notre Dame running back in a long time and said, yo, that dude is different.
I agree. I mean, I thought George Atkinson's speed was different. I thought Theo's versatility was different. But Jeremiah Love is just a mix between a couple guys. I mean, he's not stiff, very fluid of an athlete, fast, breakaway speed, yards after contact, yards in between tackles. I mean, I don't know.
Super chat. Giuseppe, thank you for the super chat. Just wanted to thank Malik for the laughs that he's providing via Twitter post about Will Howard and the match in general. It has Ohio State fans ready to crash out in the comments under his tweets. Thank you, Giuseppe, for the super chat.
Yeah, they're trying.
Hope I said your name correctly. Bravo Edits. I don't get where Ohio State fans think their defensive backs are better. Watson, Shula are better than Downs and Ransom. I don't. It's close. Yeah. See, that's why I said, dude. I don't.
The game has to be played because it's so close. The game got to be played, man.
They're both, dude.
They're both good.
Both are elite. If that's your opinion, okay. Watts doesn't get respect because he wants a 5-star. He wasn't a 5-star. I'll be in the ATL for the game. I will say this. Because of the way Notre Dame uses, I'll just say this. The safeties are happy that they don't have to deal with 44 this week. I can tell you that.
Yeah. I mean, nobody want to deal with that. I mean, he's giving them hell. Now, they're playing good. They're there and all of that, but that all game, regardless of a good it takes a good defense to make him look regular. Because he was doing that versus SC. He was doing that versus pretty much everybody. It's just, man, I'm glad that we're not going to see that player, a player like that, on Ohio State's offense. Jeremiah Love's great. I mean, Jeremiah Smith is great. But Tyler Warren is a different impact on the game. Is a reason, as much as we like to hold the reward of Penn State not having any receivers catch the ball, they were close because they was throwing it to one dude and he was taking over.
Have you ever, I wonder, like maybe those of you that are watching, like maybe you've had this opportunity in person, like locally, right? You hear about a local football player or a local basketball player, and you read the clippings and you hear everybody around town talking about them. You're like, man, I gotta go see this for myself. Like this,
go see it for myself. Yes,
can't be that good. Like this kid can't be that good.
He is that good, man.
Tyler Warren is that good, bro.
He got hands. He got run after catch. He's tough. He blocks. He's stiff arming. I mean, we had a one play could have got him off the field on a busted double pass they tried to do. Jaden Osbury right there. We was on it. He made Jaden Osbury look like a true freshman. Stiff arm, boom, 10 more yards down the sideline. Busted play turned into a positive gain there in short yards. You know what I'm saying? So even when we're there, we wasn't there. Now we managed and we rallied and we made it tough, but I mean they gave us all that they could give us. Not to mention all the simple dump outs of the running backs that they had all game that they should have been 1 yard, but they're so good they turn into 5 yards every time. 5 yards of a first down, dumping it to the running backs and the tight end.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we don't give Drew Aller a lot of credit because we said that, you know, when you look at numbers and stats, you're like, oh, my God, the receiver didn't have he didn't have to throw the receivers most of the game.
And I've seen Drew Aller put up amazing stats on the road against USC. He put up amazing stats in other big comeback wins for Penn State this year. Made clutch plays in the fourth quarter. Like, dude, USC and Minnesota, that's Notre Dame's a totally different beast.
Totally different beast, man.
Like we said, the formula is, ladies and gents, Will Howard is going to have to drop some dimes.
He's going to have to.
He's going to have to drop some dimes. And if
he does, then okay.
Ohio State's going to be just fine. If not, it's going to be.
And he looks like anything. If he looks anything like 15 from Penn State, you might as well just let us get on the stage right off the bat.
Because the Ohio State didn't play the run at all against Texas. They didn't have to.
Oh, they relied on their front four.
Sark was running the ball every now and then just to
say they did it.
They pinned their ears back and they just
whatever they wanted.
They got after Quinn Ewers.
And Quinn Ewers stands in the pocket. He's not running around like Riley Leonard is. So that last play where Quinn Ewers is sitting duck, most likely Riley's taking off. Let's just keep it what it is. If that same situation was Ryan Leonard's running around the corner. He's not sitting there waiting, patting the ball. He's off. We saw it. And then if he can't get there, he'll throw it out of bounds like he did against Abdul Carter. And I think Abdul Carter is a bigger impact than what Jack Sawyer is going to do.
Abdul Carter is faster than Jack Sawyer and JT.
So
I was about to say not as powerful, but this dude literally was playing with one arm. That dude is absolutely amazing.
He's going to be damn near. He probably got himself top 5 pick off of the Notre Dame game.
You know what? James Franklin, you stink. You literally had 2 of the top 5 players probably in college football on your team.
Yeah.
And couldn't get it done.
Tyler Warren and Abdul Carter, that's a nice combo. It's a nice combo, man. With some of that running back, them 2 running backs. Oh, you got a squad. You got a squad.
Not 2 of the top 5, you definitely had 2 of the top 10.
Oh yeah. I mean, both of those kids are like, yeah, they're
top 15 picks.
Easily
in the NFL.
Tyler Warren's a top 10, and then Abdul Carter's a top 10. You've had 4 top 10 players, arguably this year, next year.
Then you had the best running back duo, or the second best running back duo, or the third, whatever you want to say.
It was in top.
Man, look. Super chat. I said before the season that Jeremiah Love might be the most explosive athlete we've had since Robert Ishmael. Moore versus Smith could be BMO versus Marvin Harrison Jr. too.
I mean, Jeremiah Love is, first of all, he's bigger
than Rocket.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. He's a big dude. He is not. That's what makes it crazy. Jeez. Oh man. Let's go. That's all I know. Let's go.
I just think this is an attitude game, bro. It's going to be a gut check for both teams. I'm flat out, man. It's going to be a gut check. It's going to be some points in the game where both teams are going to have to respond, bro. Both quarterbacks are going to have to respond. Both defenses are going to have to respond. Coaches are going to have to make key decisions of when to go forward on a 4th down. When they call a special play on special teams. And we'll see. Man, Quinn Ewers. You'll see Quinn Ewers back at Ohio State before you see him at Notre Dame. I'll just leave it at that. The chances of Quinn Ewers coming to Notre Dame next year, we don't want anything to do with that.
Yeah, I don't think that's not the way. If the Riley is the prototype or we're trying to evolve, I think Quinn Ewers is in his own category and Riley's in his own category.
There's one quarterback.
We will switch lanes like that. I don't think we'll switch lanes like that.
There's one quarterback left. One. That if they hit the portal, Notre Dame would have to talk about it.
Who was that?
Arch.
Oh, Arch Manning. Yeah, that's.
If Arch hit the portal, Notre Dame would talk about it.
Notre Dame, yeah, we would. I would have.
That's my opinion. They would have discussions.
Yeah.
Anybody outside of that? Notre Dame's not going to the portal next year.
Well, I know we probably not going to go to the portal based off the fact we didn't grab them as fast as we grabbed these other transfers.
Well, we weren't.
And the last 2 years we were going into the portal. Before the portal opened, we knew who was coming. Like we are, like Notre Dame when they want to get a quarterback, they already have it in their mind. If we waiting this late, if we waiting this late, we're not getting the guy. We're more so like, okay, if the perfect thing falls out the sky, but we're not actively, in my opinion, especially not after we accepted all these transfers that we're looking quarterback specifically.
I think Gino recently just talked about it.
Yeah, he said it's going to be a real interesting spring between the guys in the room. Between the guys in the room.
And I think, I think what he's saying is right. It is going to be an interesting spring, bro.
It's gonna be Gino's year to show that he just hasn't been collecting the check all this time.
Oh, this is definitely
back on the quarterback. What? We back on the quarterback, baby.
Matter of fact, I think I had a clip left. This is
I saw the clip yesterday.
Matter of fact, I'm sorry, Jay Grizz, GTB. Is Freeman NFL material, and could he be successful right away in rebuilding a professional organization like the lowly Chicago Bears? Jay Grizz, that lowly, you could have left that lowly out of there. You didn't have to put that lowly in there, bro.
He had to describe it.
Yeah, you put a little extra spice on top of that. You didn't have to do that. You didn't have to do that.
Lowly.
Oh, Chicago Bears. You didn't have to do that, bro.
That's petty right there. I don't even want to consider. I think Marcus Freeman has found his groove, his niche. I think it would be going backwards at this very juncture to build something that it's got some legs on it. We can ride the next 2-3 years and be in contention for a championship, considering how awesome you've made this year. And the changes you made from year 1 to year 2 and year 2 to year 3 are so drastic that I would feel upset, honestly, if you take off. You know what I'm saying? If you take off and try to restart in a program that they're banking on you making a castle out of an anthill over there. So that's a lot of restarting and stress when I think he's came right into that pocket that Marcus Freeman wanted to fit in and being that program builder. As a first head coaching job, you're described as a program builder at a top tradition. Don't leave out just yet. Hell, Brian Kelly stayed 10 years. Now, he probably lost a little bit of love in year 8, 9, 10. But he understood that being a program builder of consistency at Notre Dame and the benefits that come from that, hard to find a better job. I remember Kelly was looking at NFL jobs. But at the same time, Notre Dame's a great place to be like, I may not want to go yet. I can fall back on a Notre Dame job. Come on. So for my opinion, Marcus Freeman, especially if he wins, he's not going to want to leave. Because first of all, the Bears ain't going to pay enough. Second of all, you've ingrained yourself. Just like I think Deion may entertain it, I don't think he'll leave necessarily because you just got Julian Lewis, man. I think that holds, in some mind, that holds a little bit of weight. Unless they're saying, we're guaranteeing we're going to draft your son for the Cowboys if you coach and all of that, then that's different. Marcus Freeman's kids ain't in college yet. His son big. I don't even think his son in high school yet, but his son big. So, you might see him on the recruiting trail soon, but I don't think he needs to leave at this juncture, especially if guys on his roster have stayed and denied bigger jobs. Al Golden, Mike Mickens. Denbrock came to Marcus Freeman in Notre Dame. So when you got all those things working in your favor, it's hard to just be like, I'm comfortable in leaving to another situation. Now, guys like Matt LaFleur, all the way. I knew he was going to the league middle of the season. That's just the type of guy he is. He's an NFL dude. He's not trying to recruit. He ain't trying to talk into the media that much. He don't really like how guys aren't just perfect. He like, man, I'm used to seeing Julio Jones every day. Now I got to teach a receiver how to release off the ball. So he's always been an NFL guy. Want to watch film all day, that kind of thing. So I'm not surprised. But Marcus Freeman just seems like he is the college football coach you want to send your kids to. With all the mistrust and all the things that have taken place in college football, I feel like you can look at Marcus Freeman and be like, I'm comfortable with that. That's why we're number one in moms. In conjunction with it being Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman is great with parents. He's a trustable guy. I think he loses going to the Bears.
People forget he actually played for the Bears. So
Sean, don't tell him that. Don't tell him that, Sean.
He did play for the Bears. I'm just saying, But it's, like I said it yesterday, bro. That Marcus Freeman Bears stuff is, dude. Mike McCarthy is interviewing for the job tomorrow. Like
that'll be 17 people.
Yeah, he is the 17th.
The only people that y'all should be interviewing.
They not the 7. No, he's the 16th. 17th. They asked permission to interview the offensive coordinator for the Packers. That I didn't do because LaFleur calls the plays, bro.
He does.
No one knows who the offensive coordinator for the Packers is.
No, they don't.
The fact that they wanted to interview him, it was like, okay, what are we doing?
I mean, y'all really grasping for straws or something.
Organization is just. Jay Grizz didn't have to say it, but he wasn't wrong. It's a lowly organization, bro. It really is. It's a lowly organization. He wasn't wrong.
Come on, man.
Pretty bad. Gino Gadula, this is what he had to say.
Is there a part of you, a little 5% of you, that's looking forward to an outright battle?
It should be great. We got a talented room. It's gonna be interesting to watch unfold. Kenny, Steve, CJ, and now the addition of Blake. We got 4 really talented kids in that room that'll all be vying for the position. And yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Let me be petty for a second. Who did he mention first?
Kenny.
Who did he mention first? Wait. Who did he mention first?
The lead horse. The one expected. First? The one expected to, take the job.
Maybe that was just the first name.
Categorically, that's not how you do it. You would do a CJ Kenny if you were doing it categorically. But he knew what he was talking about. He subconsciously spoke the depth chart.
That there was a Freudian slip. Is that
because how else do you rearrange it? You went Blake last
because he thought about it. Oh, wait a minute. He thought about it. He thought about it. We're being real petty right now. And I know some people are going to run to some boards and talk about it. He thought about it, didn't he?
I think he listed
5% of you that's looking forward to an outright battle.
It should be great. We got a talented room. It's gonna be interesting to watch unfold. Kenny, Steve, CJ, and now the addition of Blake. We got 4 really talented kids in that room that'll all be vying for the position. And yes, I'm looking forward to it.
Steve got another year.
Yeah, man. Steve got 2 more years, bro.
Steve got another year, and he put Kenny over Steve.
Kenny just played in the Orange Bowl. I mean, Steve just played in the Orange Bowl.
He just played a pivotal role, and he still mentioned
Go ahead, Lefty.
Yeah, that was before. Obviously, that was before the game.
I'm trolling right now. I'm trolling. I'm gonna be honest.
I'm trolling. Hey, listen, we didn't say it. We're just breaking down what we heard. Gino, because Gino said it's gonna be real interesting. Then he paused because he had to arrange the guys in his mind how they fit in a chronological order for him. He said, "Yeah, it's gonna be real interesting." Kenny, Steve, CJ, and now we got Blake, and he put Blake at the end because he don't know. So that just tells you he thought about it. Because if it was just naming guys, he'd just be Blake, CJ. We got Steve coming back, Kenny. No, he spoke in the correct order. Because Gino knows it's his time to shine next year. Marcus Freeman's like, this all good. Great team win. We took the pressure off of the quarterback this year. But Gino, it's your time to get the contracts up. It's your contract year, Gino. Because all eyes are going to be on you. Regardless of what happens, the first thing we're going to talk about is that quarterback battle. What do you mean? 24 hours after the game's over, who's replacing the national champion Riley Leonard? Who's going to be the back-to-back quarterback coming in there? Who is it? Because Gino been real quiet. We done seen the Gino files. Sam Hartman. Gino just be like, hey, what? Come on. You a big boy. You supposed to be beyond this. We done seen early Gino with Riley try to say something. They okay, oh, I hear you. But Riley was Denbrock's guy. Riley was Denbrock's guy. Sam was the quarterback room. He was a Tyler Buckner fan. Steve was his best boy, you know. Gino's just learning like everybody else, you know. But now it's like, all right, Gino, you lost Deuce. That's your first strike. Are we counting it or are we not counting it, Sean? Are we counting this Deuce loss or are we not counting it? Because we remember talking about Deuce standing in the middle of the field.
Hey, Deuce is all good. Notre Dame fans, like Deuce is all good. He's standing next to his Mercedes-Benz. Iced out.
Standing next to the money. That's okay.
Hey, he's showing the money. We knew what it was.
No. I'm sorry, not the money. He's showing the good relationships, right? What the Auburn dudes say? We have good, strong, healthy relationships. Okay. That's what we seeing over at all. But he's on
IG, icy, Mercedes-Benz.
Or did Auburn mean good relationship with the car dealership? Good relationship with the jewelers? Is that what they meant?
Deuce, I think you worth more than a C class, though, bro.
Hey, listen, I think
a little C class coupe they put you in.
They got wagons down there. I heard they got Jeep wagons down there.
Boy, you struck me more as a flatbed, maybe even like an SUV.
Yeah, something to carry the teammates in to go throw the football around.
As C class, they got you in.
They treating you like a rapper.
Yeah,
they treat you like quarterback.
They spent like 40 stacks on that. Nah.
Come on now, that's Deuce. You ain't doing the money right. Don't let us tell you. We're not gonna tell you how to spend or what to accept as gifts. We just said what fits and what should fit your value. That's all we saying. Your value. We want you to get money, young man. We just want the value to be right. As C class, I heard Nico and Melita rolled up in something pressure. The Hawaiian Caravan or whatever he had, something nice, orange, decked out, rims. But if that's all the War Eagles can pay for, I get it, because it's good relationships with the car dealership. That's what they're doing. I got it. They still don't have an offensive line.
Shout out to your former teammate. Tommy Reese on being named the offensive coordinator for the Cleveland Browns.
Falling upwards. I can only hope.
Nepotism is amazing, isn't it?
Oh man, I could only hope to have a great career path like Tommy Reese, man. Where mistakes don't matter. Where
it's good to have somebody that's in the league. Pops that's in the league.
Only matters as much as the next job. They're like, oh, we don't care about your past. We would love to have you in a better position than last year. Where'd the Browns go? Okay. I can only hope and wish and pray I can have a successful career, making mistakes and getting better. He has the ultimate trust with his employers. The ultimate.
Congratulations to Leonard Moore being selected to the FWAA Freshman All-American team.
Well deserved.
So players will meet with the media tomorrow. We'll probably have some of that for you. And as always, great show, man. Fantastic. Ohio State fans have been fantastic. You had a few cats, they get out of hand, but college football fans that have jumped in have been fantastic. Thank you for the super chat. We got another one from Lucas Jackson. Malik, who is your best boy?
Who is my what?
Your best boy. I don't know if that's best friend. Lucas.
Lucas, that's a $20 confusing question. he got me really thinking on something I don't know what you're talking about. But shoot, but like you said, man, I'm so excited to see.
When you get married, who's the best man?
When I get married, who's the best man? That's a good question. That's a good question.
That's tough. I'm like, yeah,
you know what's so funny?
Do you go childhood? Do you go squad?
Because when I be in the shower, I really be thinking about random stuff like that. Like if I was to get married right now, who would I call? Honestly, I have a hard time. As an only child, best man means something different.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, you could do childhood. My dog Rob Norwood jumped on the chat yesterday with the nice compliment. Going back all my life. I got really close friends that I don't even talk to right now, but they are really, really, really close friends that I would want them to be there. If not, so I can only hope just to get to the altar and then let everything else take care of itself.
I'm just trying to get there.
I'm just trying to get to the altar. Can't even think about best man yet. Let me get to the altar in one piece.
Lucas said, I guess Lucas said you said somebody else had their best boy a minute ago. I don't know what context it was in.
Dang, Luke Jackson, you talking in
were you talking about Tommy?
I don't know. I'm just saying, I just only can hope Tommy can just bless me with some of that great employment opportunity that he gets, man. Because I mean, he's just killing it.
We're gonna renew our vows next year, so you'll get the invite.
Oh, let's go. Let's go.
On an island somewhere.
Oh, we ain't in cold Chicago.
No, definitely won't be here in Chicago. No, sir.
Oh man. It probably would change.
No, I think I'm gonna have the same best man.
Really? Okay, that's real.
That's real. My best man were my best man were my two brothers and my best friend.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. So you can have more than one? Oh, that makes it easy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, see, I had two, bro. Right?
Oh, yeah. You had two brothers.
And I got two brothers and I had my best friend and my wife. See, I only had our wedding party was 31.
That's pretty good.
31
for close, people. Like these are close, like people y'all call on.
I had some extras. I had to add people because my wife, she had, her girls were deep.
Oh, girls are deep?
Her girls are deep. So I was
had a hard time, huh?
I was about 3 or 4 dudes short. So I had to go dig, let me go find one.
Yeah, you over here like you got a Rolodex over there.
Let me find somebody I'm cool with at the ministry.
Yeah, I got
somebody else from college.
Yeah, just stop on by, because it got something going on.
Yeah, then her cousin's husband, jumped. I was
I'm
cool with him. They could walk together. Yeah.
Man, you really had to think it. That's cool though, because you really had to think about it and stuff.
My twin sisters ended up being the Flower Girls because at that time they were 7 or 8.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
everything worked out.
Man, I really thought there's only one best man, and I'm like, oh, that's a tough decision. If this, you can have more, okay. That makes it a little easier, thank goodness.
And more than likely, Tommy Reese is probably going to be working with Kirk Cousins. That's the rumor. That Cleveland. They're going after Kirk Cousins.
Man, the way they got rid of Kirk Cousins so fast in Atlanta, I don't know how long they think they're going to hold on to Kirk.
Remember when everybody heated Atlanta up, what are y'all doing picking Michael Penix? They knew something. They covered their tails. They gave Kirk that money, but they were like, yo.
I mean, they got off of him really quick. They didn't make a big thing about it, and which is it's just interesting because they passed on him so fast in the middle of the season. How often do you see that? Pay him $180 million, make a big hoorah, and then just smoothly pass him and cut him in the end of the season is crazy.
Yo, your boy Gino from out there said all my groomsmen were best men. I couldn't choose just one.
See, that's fair. Okay, if that's how we playing it, then I like how you did that.
See, man, let me tell you, I'm diabolical, man. I let my cats know, like, bro, this is your level of friendship, bro.
Oh, okay. Okay. So you that's hard to do.
Like you're not like
You're
there's
one
no
tier.
friend. Yeah, there's no friends that like are on the same level as my brother. My brothers are
right.
My brothers are here. Like my best friend, damn. Then I have my college best friend. You know, kind of like right there on the same level, maybe a little bit below. And then everybody else kind of falls underneath that. Oh, I'm sorry, my cousin Larry, which is pretty much my brother. We're 10 months apart. That's my dude. He's right there. And then my cousins on my dad's side, Aaron and Eric, they're probably right there. Those are like the elites. And everybody else is just kind of like, yeah, you're my friend, but you're not on this level right here. That's the way I do it. I'm honest. I just have to be honest with you. There's certain things that I'm not going to share with you that I will share with them. Certain conversations I will not have with you. You know, and I don't feel comfortable with you telling me certain things.
That's real.
Because I don't like, man, let me tell you something. It is uncomfortable to hear your boy talk about his girl. And then you have to be around him. It's tough. And now you're looking at her like
you got a whole nother thought on it. Yeah.
Exactly. You have to make sure that you don't show it.
Right. It's like but you can't act like you know. You gotta be like, oh, okay. It's all new information.
And then it makes you do too much. Like, yo, what's up? It's like, you're doing like
it's like how all the guys is acting when Joy came back to work. They super in agreement. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh, yep. I would have said that too. You can tell they over laughing at anything Joy say. Michael Irvin just cracking up. Like, okay.
Trying to make her feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, I asked OG Reg. They're all flying back. Him, all the Notre Dame players, Host Heroes. They were down in Orlando over the weekend. They were celebrating Coach Holt's his birthday, and he was like, "Yo, former players, coaches, student managers, alums, administrations, like great turnout, great event, man." He said, "I'm ready to get back and talk some football."
Oh yeah, here we go.
Because he's over the Host Heroes, so that was putting that together for him was probably a headache.
Yeah.
So we appreciate you guys so much, man. We'll let you know when the Players Only podcast with Oscar McBride, Reggie Brooks, MALIK, Jerron Jones. CJ said he might jump on. Cam is supposed to be with us later in the week. Tomorrow, our big bro joins us. Carl Reed.
Let's go. Hey, I love Carl Reed, man. That's my dog.
We see Carl Reed owes us something, remember? Because he bet us last year.
Yeah.
He was like, if Notre Dame gets to the national championship in the next 2 years, remember what he said?
All right, listen. Hey, bring them to the altar. That's what you gotta do. You
gotta come and repent. Come and lay your sins down. You're gonna make them come to the altar and lay your sins down. Repent for all the Notre Dame nation.
He's been tweeting at me too. I done seen, my guy Carl Reed done tweet at me over these Ohio State tweets. Okay.
Real humble right about now.
Yeah. Come on down to the show. Come on to the show. We did exactly what we told you we could do. So and we think you're the most qualified in sports right now. So come on now.
That's what we do. That's
what we're saying.
That interview we were supposed to have the day before the semifinal. Let's bring that back. Let's try to drop that this week.
We're gonna have to.
Yeah, hit him up. He said we were supposed to get spanked by Penn State. I want to talk to him now.
We gotta ask him about that.
Gotta ask him. Hey, we got some content coming for you. Stay locked in.
That was some content coming to you.
Hey, you already know we spin it different. Have a great Tuesday. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning.